Let's see what we can find. 2022 Colorado, right? Look at this. That might be from the dashboard, I'm not sure. But we're going to see what's inside of this thing. We tried to program it with SPS, and I believe the VIN changed, but you know, the programming said completed, but we still have the fault code, and the vehicle is immobilized. So that is a bit of a problem. It's causing it not to run. And of course, they want a running, driving vehicle. So let's see what we can't figure out here in order to get this thing to run and drive. A Phillips screw. Let's see if we can't get that thing out. A little tight, but it's coming out. Woo! I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that is one rusty screw. This thing didn't just go underwater. It was in salt water. Had to have been, you know. Come on, partner. Got it off. Cool. Set this over here. Now this thing is going to be total junk. It was no communication. It's shot out. So I pulled that front off. Maybe that was not necessary. I don't know. There's 1, 2, 3 Phillips screws. All right, so it turns out I did not need to remove the front shield. Everything that we need is right here, I think. This is probably the EEPROM, all right? And then this is the MCU. Now this does have legs on it, but it has this blue coating. I'm not exactly sure what all it is. It needs to be scratched off, but it's a key indicator that, yeah, that's what we need. So I'm going to, we're going to see what we're dealing with. What do we have to do in order to get this thing swapped over, cloned over, whatever. I don't want to have to swap the MCU, but I know on GMs, a lot of times, you know, the global identifier is stored not only in, you know, it's not in the EEPROM only, it's in the MCU. So we're probably going to be dealing with an MCU here. See if we can't focus. Find out what exactly we're dealing with. I got a bunch of blue goop on this one. What is this stuff, right? Let's see if we can't use a pokey tool and find out exactly what this coating is. Oh, it is gooey. I think it's I forget the name of the coating, but I think you have to use a black light to get this stuff to seal up, to harden. Very well may be what we're dealing with. And it is on there. Let me tell you what. It is definitely on there. Okay. So where I said I thought it was our EEPROM, NXP 5612. Get a little more clear. So that's NXP 5612. Let's show this to ChatGPT and see what it says. Sometimes it's wrong. Okay, well that's not our EEPROM. According to ChatGPT, that's not our EEPROM. That is a microcontroller of some sort. How are you doing? What do we got here? 2LB15. Huh. Something tells me that's not the EEPROM either. I wonder if the EEPROM is on the other side of the board. Unless, see here, unless that is our EEPROM right there. Let's see if we can't scrape off some of the top. All right, let's show ChatGPT this one. That is not it. That is not it. That's bright. So there's a good chance that the external EEPROM, if it has one, is on the opposite side of this board. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off the needles off the front here, and we're going to see if I'm correct. Well, this is the donor, or the original, so we don't have to worry about it because it's no com anyways. You have to learn how to get these things off, and these just pull up and off. So really hope that we don't have to go this route. I don't want to have to open the new one. These are kind of a pain in the butt to open, it seems like. Let me see if I can't get underneath here. That's what I thought. Kind of a pain, to be honest. And they're coming, but they're really on there. That one came out much easier. Off comes the face. Yuck, right? Yuck. Let's get this off. There's some tabs here on the back side. I'm gonna go ahead and push those in. We're gonna go ahead and pry on this thing. Oh, sorry, it has a latch here. that you either push down on or, yeah, I think you push down. Sorry. I believe that you push down on these. Or maybe you pull up. Okay, it is a pull up. All right, so at least we know that they designed this board to be repaired. The only thing is there's no EEPROM on this side. So that is a good thing. I'm happy about that. I really didn't want to have to go that direction with the donor just because I didn't like how these pointers were coming off. So, all right, it appears that we're going to have to try and get this conformal coating off. Let's see if we can't get this off. We might be able to. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Start by pushing it back here, you know. And then, I don't know if I can grab this and pull it. Let me get some tweezers. It looks like we might have some luck doing this. Yeah, we might get a little lucky. Just keep walking around it. This conformal coating is gonna, I don't know, I'm pretty sure there's a solution, you know, that you use or some way to remove this stuff. I haven't ever tried. I'm just kind of learning as I go right now. So as you can see, there is pretty good, this conformal coating here. I think this is the kind that you have to use the black light on, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't know that I'll be able to remove this chip with this stuff on here. Just to be honest, I'm not sure. This is going to be tough. This is absolutely going to be tough, but I'm going to go ahead and try and loosen it all up as best I can. Peel it back, and then yeah, I'm going to hit it with some flux all the way around. And I'm going to make sure I have my, you know, I don't know how toxic this stuff is. It's probably incredibly toxic to heat up. Let's see here. You know, it takes a while to get used to not looking at your hands. And all you're doing is looking at a screen, but working with your hands. You know, I guess that's similar to what a doctor does, I guess, you know. I always like to relate what I do to other fields. I think it's hilarious, you know, a doctor, you know, but we do have similar things that we do and how we go about operations and whatnot. It can be similar. Same thing as a detective, you know, being in an automotive field, doing auto repair, you are a detective. You have detective skills, you know, constantly having to do things like that. Figuring out what happened, who did what, when, you know. How did this happen, you know? Of course, we know in this vehicle it was a flood damaged vehicle. So, unfortunately, I didn't get to show you guys. I did reprogram this with SPS. The VIN number changed, but we still have incorrect identifier codes. So, we're going to try and swap this MCU. Now, I really didn't find an EEPROM on this board. I will triple check, because I triple check everything, because I normally am wrong about most things. So I'll triple check and we'll see if there is an external EEPROM, but I think it's an internal emulated EEPROM, which means it's in this MCU, I do believe, and that would mean I don't need to do anything else. That swapping this MCU alone should fix this vehicle. Should fix this cluster, get this vehicle running. Boy, oh boy. Just peeling this stuff back little by little, trying to expose as much of the legs as I possibly can. You know, it's like, it's not exactly like a gummy type substance, but it's more like it's plastic or something, and it's just gonna, like a plastic bag. So it's just gonna tear apart, you know. So I've dumped a little isopropyl alcohol on there. It probably won't help, but we'll see. Oh, or maybe it will help. I don't know. This stuff is peeling right off, to be honest. I don't know if it's alcohol or just the fact that I'm peeling it at a different location now. Either way, it is working. So that's fantastic. Oh yeah, it's definitely, it's the alcohol. Alcohol is eating away at it. All right. Now we are getting somewhere. Scrape enough of that stuff off and we'll be good to go. You know, obviously it's still taking a long time, but that's a-okay with me. If I can first find a way to do it, period, then that gives me an opportunity to find a way to do it better later. I've been using the sharp end. I'm going to now apply this flat end. See how that does. Scraping the top of it, going to the bottom of it, scraping the top of it. Okay. We go back in with our fine tip. Back to our flat bit. Ugh. Look at this stuff. Holy cow. Okay, well this is working out much better than I had expected, to be honest. Okay, so that's cleaned up pretty well. Now I am going to take a brush and go over it. Where is it at? Where is the brush? All right, so now I'm going to use my brush. This brush is awesome. Soft side, hard side. It's got metal. And we're just going to kind of scrape away here. Put down a little more alcohol. And then I'm going to kind of like sweep this stuff away. You know? Just get it away from the legs as best as I can. We take our tissue. We're going to pat the whole area down. Looking much better, much better. Go ahead and blow it off. Now we're coming towards the moment of truth. Will we be able to get this off? I don't know. We're going to get the heat gun out and give it a shot. Okay, it's the moment of truth. We're going to use our hot air gun and get this thing lifted off. Am I the only one who drinks raw milk? Now you're always going to want to pay attention to your orientation, right? You need to make sure you put the chip on the correct way. Now, my chip, I know how it's orientated, but I'm going to put a white dot, and I'm going to put a white dot on the board. So it's on the chip and on the board, a white dot. So I know that these go next to each other. I'm going to need a little bit of flux to try and make this a smooth transition. Let me put my hot air gun up real quick. The flux is going to hopefully allow this to melt a little bit faster. That's what I'm hoping. Would be fantastic. Let me tell you what, that would be fantastic. But what else? I need to turn on my air machine. My fume extractor. Fume extractor needs to be kicking high gear, bro. Now we got the fume extractor set up down there. Hopefully it's not in everybody's way. Can probably put it, yeah, something like this. I'm going to put the hot air around 4 for the fan speed. We've got the fume extractor there, and hopefully that will be enough to save the day. We are going to be using this tweezers here. I like these tweezers. They're pretty good. Let me not block your entire view. See how this does. Turn my extractor up to full blast. You see it's really ripping some fumes here. You gotta have these fume extractors. It's one of those non-negotiables, you know? You must have it. Just going back and forth, little by little. Oh, we had some pop in there. I think I'm getting the board too hot. To be honest, I do think I'm getting the board too hot. Alright, so I'm going to lift it up a little bit. Let it cool down. This is the practice board, you know. This is not the end game. Okay, now we lifted up 3 sides of this chip. What we're going to do is we're going to let it cool down a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to go for the final side. I'm going to switch over. I know I'm blocking y'all's view a little bit, but I'm going to have to do that. Eventually one day I'll get a better camera set up. But for now, this is what we got. Come on. All right, it's loose. We are off the board. That was a tough one. I did get the board a little too hot. That is true. So this is the donor chip. And we're going to do the best that we can to safely remove it. We don't want to cause any damage to the board at all, or any of the components that are nearby. I did not show you guys the prep work that I put going into it, you know. That's okay. I don't think you guys care to see me scrub off all that blue anyways. Maybe you did. Maybe you wanted to see it. I don't know. It takes forever. That's a lot of work. Still not close to being ready yet. Oh yeah, we're close now. Alright, so this side's basically lifted. Now we'll work on this following side. Good. Let it cool down a little bit. Just ever so slightly. Not a lot. Here we have it. It's off the board. Bingo. I'm going to set it down. Turn my fan speed down to low. Let the iron cool down, or the torch, whatever they call them. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean this board up and see what happens. Now I am running a risk here. I am running a risk. The risk is that I did not remove that screen. That would be this screen. I did not take it off. Now there is an air gap, but still I did not take it off. So it may be best if I turn my fan on and keep it right above here to suck any, to draw air across it, and then I don't want to put water on it, but maybe the alcohol. Cool it down a little bit. All that blue nasty goop is there. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to pull off the solder, make it flat, re-tin it all, and then kind of take it from there. We'll install this new chip. Alright, you see all that blue gunk? Let's see if we can't get it off the board. Yuck. That stuff is horrible. Oh, we lifted a trace. Now we have a repair to make. We lifted a trace. Man, what a struggle this one's going to be. I definitely have my work cut out for me, I'll tell you that. Can't believe that happened. To be honest with you, I can't believe that happened. There we go. All right, doing good here, doing good. A little flatter on there. All right. Let's put the iron up. Make sure to clean off the tip a little bit. And now to this damaged trace. Oh boy. Honestly, wow, you know, I cannot believe I damaged this trace. Let me get this trace off the board. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some alcohol over this stuff and try and get this board cleaned up a little bit, especially at this point here, so that I can see what I'm dealing with. You know, oh, yeah. What do we have going on here? I want it to all be nice and clean, sparkly. Shiny, clean layers. Some of this tissue here. Take the tissue and just dab the tissue right over the top. In the center there, it's a little sticky. But now we can definitely see each trace is very nice looking. Go around the board and look at them all. Super impressed so far. Everything's just looking really nice. Just got one hiccup, but we have to fix it. Otherwise this module will not function properly. And this is the good board. So that sucks. Can't believe that. Can't believe it. But lifting traces is just part of the game. This happens. Got to make it work. All right, after an hour of trying to trace where that pin may go, where that pad may go, sorry, I can't find it. I don't have any continuity to anything. It doesn't appear to trace to anything, you know. That one pad is on the dark spot that goes around all the traces, and it doesn't go to ground. I can't find it, you know, testing continuity to any other pads on the MCU, to any other pads anywhere in the board. However, I could be wrong. I absolutely, excuse me, could be wrong. Sure, I'm hoping that I'm not, you know. This may or may not work. We shall see. That's all we can do, right? That's all we can do now. I'm hoping that it's a no connect pad. That would be the best thing for us, a no connect pad. So let's go ahead and get some flux on here. And then we're going to do our best to get all these pads tinned. Get a solder on them. And we're going to, you know, and we're gonna, sorry. And we're gonna get this MCU back on the board. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be using some super fine wire. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's 0.3 millimeters. And tin that on there. Straight across. Add a little more to it. Now I have done several MCUs and not had these type of problems. Holy smokes. Okay, here we go. Now, my goodness. All right, let's heat that up. We're gonna heat that up. It lifted the pad off a little bit, but it didn't tear it off. So we could probably fix this with a little bit of solder. I am gonna use my drill here. Probably should swap out the bit, but that's okay, to a finer bit. Yeah, I need to swap out the bit to a finer one. Okay. Well, let's see what that looks like. Put a little alcohol on there. And look, that's it. Not that bad, it's fixed. So it's fine. Cool. All right, so what are we gonna do now? Now, what we're gonna do is get this chip on here. Let's get this chip on. All right, as you can see, I have dropped the chip down onto the board. But it is nowhere near lined up. Not even anywhere near close to being lined up. This is going to be tough and tricky. And realistically, I need to zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. That's probably better. All right, we need to get more light on here. This is always the hard part. It's so critical that the board is lined up perfectly. You know, so critical. And again, it's the hardest part. You know what? I'm going to take this off. There's just too much of a mess going on there. The flux is too shiny. I can't see anything. So we're going to clean it all off. And then we will reapply flux after we know for sure this thing is lined up just right. Nope, we're going to do some more. I need it clean. Unfortunately, that's probably as good as it's going to get, which is not that good. Okay. It's lined up pretty good. Not perfect still. Well, let's see if it's perfect. That's looking pretty darn good, to be honest. That is pretty good. I do believe I moved it. Dang it. Fantastic. Well, we'll just have to put some flux down, and then we will melt the flux a little bit, and we'll see where we're at. Hot air is on. Fume extractor's on. Okay, now this left side does appear that it's not exactly that. Definitely looks better. But I am going to say that we need to move that bit ever so softly. I think we're good to go. All right, let's get it. We're going to heat up this one side first. Now we'll do this back side. And we're going to do this left side on the left now. I'm going to apply some pressure. Let's see what we got. I want to see where we're at. Grab this side. It won't lift up. We'll grab this side. It won't lift up. We'll grab this side. It won't lift up. We'll grab the last side. It won't lift up. Now, we're going to go through and we're going to check individually each leg and make sure every leg is good. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to drop down the screen to get a better view of every leg. Now we're going to go through and check these individually, one by one, and I'm not going to use the tweezers. I'm not going to use tweezers to do this. I'm going to use a probe. A very, very fine probe, even finer than my tweezers, right? This needle probe here, we're going to use that to go through and check that each of these legs are already moving. So, yeah, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time with them. What we're going to do is we're going to put some flux down. I'm going to go through, solder over these. And that should get us good. I'm going to use the iron. The hot air did not work that great. We're going to use an iron. All right, now we're running down through each of these, and I do believe that by doing this, each of these legs should weld themselves in. Each one of these legs. Let's check. Just started with that one little row. Nope. It did not work at all. Let's try again. Don't give up yet. Feel like I need a little more solder, like on my tip here. Okay, let's try that. Well, it's probably a good idea if I can get it on there a little bit better. Just a little bit. All right, let's check now and see if these things are soldered on, because this is a nightmare, to be honest with you. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Those have the coating on them real bad. Okay. Let's go back through there and get those. All right, got the jump box hooked up. Let's get over here in this corner. Go inside. This beautiful thing here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Look how dusty it is. Right? That thing was, it was deep. Real deep. Okay, so there's only one connector. I'm not bolting this thing down. And you know what? I'm pretty sure nobody ever checked powers and grounds going to this thing. But it's lit up, 33,008 miles. Oh, we have stuff going on. The gauge is moving. Oh, 39,975. All right, it's running. Oh boy, look at that. We have a running automobile. It worked. Wow, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. It's running kind of shitty. It's not my problem. Oh, excuse my language. It's running kind of bad. Not my problem. It's got some other faults, but we got a running vehicle. Ooh boy, that's a good one. That's a good one. And it revs up. Weak throttle response. It's still in limp mode, it feels like. It's got some fault codes stored, you know. I haven't cleared any fault codes, so let's just go ahead and start it again. Yep, we're good. We got us a runner, shaking like crazy. Let me go ahead and show them what we're dealing with here. And that's a win, guys. Thanks for watching.